The lizard trip.
Yes.
Would you guys do that?
No.
Would you try doing a little?
You're
acid
asking
trip
me
with
if I
lizard?
would put a live living thing up my nose?
Yeah.
No.
Here's a better question.
But you get to go on a trip like that, and you get your own staff afterwards.
Did anyone feel like or get an inkling that it might have been slightly force motivated? So he get pulled to a tree, and then he breaks off obviously a branch of this tree, and I thought there were just shades of Clone Wars in there. I thought, or Rebels.
And you must go.
What's in there?
Only what you take with you.
With certain force things happening.
Well, look, the force sensitivity could make some sense, right? Because
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we clarify though, real quick? Are you saying Boba was connected to the Force via the lizard, and the lizard's part of the Force, or are you saying?
Well, the Force is in all living things.
Yeah, exactly. Are we going to what Qui-Gon says to Anakin, where the Force is in all living things? Some have higher fucking M counts than the other.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I just thought it was just interesting that this lizard thing goes up his nose. He has this vision, and then he finds himself at a tree, which is, the only living thing on the planet or in that little area. And then, so he's pulled to that through this trip. I was like, I don't think it's anything overt. I don't think it's even like he's force sensitive. I'm not going that far. But, I thought there might be like shades of force in there.
So the way I looked at it more was the lizard is like a Power Ranger, and Boba is his Megazord. And that tree pissed off the lizard.
Wait,
and
what?
he was like, I'm going to use my Megazord Boba Fett to beat the shit out of his fucking tree. Fuck you, tree. That's how I took it.
I do love how, like, when you first see it, you're totally like, oh, Boba's getting a pet. How come we don't see this pet in the present day? I'm like, oh, man, he's going to lose his pet.
Yep.
Like, his pet lives, and all of a sudden the thing goes up his nose. I'm like,
I love how he's like,
something very different.
He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I think I ate it or something.
he's like very
oh, no.
apologetic.
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting thing, though. So if we go back to Bad Batch Season 1, we go to Boba's, counterpart, Omega.
Omega.
Hi, I'm Omega.
Remember, obviously, she was another, like, quote-unquote, pristine clone of Jango. And then there's a lot of the illusions of the Caminos, the Caminans, Kaminoans, doing a lot of this cloning, kind of doing a lot of cloning stuff, potentially also for Palpatine. Right,
Papa Palpatine.
And we know then, obviously, the operations were taken over. That we got a little bit more background of how the Empire did that and took that over and created Snoke. But there seems to be a lot of like connections here, right, between the Force, between Omega, who's connected to Boba, the cloning thing, the Snoke stuff. Like it almost feels like that they may be using Boba in Book of Boba and like Mando and Omega and in Bad Batch to like further expand the whole Palpatine return, Snoke cloning type of thing, potentially, right? Because the big thing of like the Snoke clone was trying to transfer the Force powers or whatever. But maybe there's something that's key within Boba, within Omega that furthers.
Yeah, if we and that'll be absolutely true if we get more Force things. Like I said, like it's just a wild guess, right? Like it might just be a lizard and straight up drug trip, and he just finds a tree and there's nothing more than that. But that is interesting.
Or a lizard wanting to beat the shit out of a tree, and
I'd love
using
that
him as a
interpretation of it,
Megazord.
to be honest. Yeah, I mean, using him as a Titan.
That was his Titan
body.
exactly. That's his Titan body.
There's also the Grogu element, right? We know that in Mandalorian, they're after Grogu because he is Force sensitive and they want to use his genetic code and whatever.
Yeah.
And we still can't rule out the possibility that Grogu is a clone himself.
Well, yeah, exactly. We don't know Grogu's origins or anything of that nature. But I don't, we're 2 episodes in. This is 8 episodes in total?
7.
7 episodes total. So we're almost halfway through. I mean, we're a third. We're a third through.
Under a third, yeah.
And I
Over
think,
a quarter, under a third.
I think they've already kind of established, though, that it looks like the majority of this show is going to be in that 6-year period between out of Sarlacc pit and to the present.
with an occasional flashback to young Boba.
Well,
looking at
I wouldn't even say that those are
CGI
like
Boba
real
Fett.
flashbacks, more just
Memories.
drug trips.
Yeah, or just images.
Yeah.
Or images, yeah. So I don't know if we're going to necessarily get like a full-blown, this is how it, like any kind of like real substantial connection per se to like a Grogu or an Omega. I would imagine it would be like an after credit tease thing